Welcome festivals to my channel. If you're new here, this is Kush's Corner. I'm Kush, and basically this is my pocket of sunshine where I basically am a huge yap. I speak about books or anything that interests me. So this is going to take a while, so I hope you have a beverage with you. I have some coffee. I'm a sipper. It takes me quite a while to finish it, but I want to talk about the two books that I've basically read in the past 24 hours. It is Sunday today, so I am gonna do a bit of like Bible study, if that makes sense. I've got like my little stationery pack. I've got my journal in which I put down all my thoughts that I get from when I read the Bible, and then I obviously have my glorious study Bible. It's everything and more, and the perfect time for me to read so I can get some wisdom for the week ahead, and just be anchored within the word. Okay, but that is not today's thing. Today we're not doing some spiritual revelations. Maybe it will come tomorrow or sometime this week, once I've stewed on what we learn in the sermon. But today is about the two books that I've read. Basically, I read A Deadly Game, Brutal Game. I don't know why I keep calling it a deadly game. A Brutal Game by Joe Renner. I really forgot. And then I read Maybe This Lifetime by Asia Monique. Maybe This Lifetime is a black romance, and Brutal Game is a bully romance. And when I say I was living in heaven for A Brutal Game, I rated it 4.5 stars. The only reason why it's missing a 0.5 is because the epilogue did not give me what I was hoping for. So I was just like, X for you. But it was still a really great book. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then for, what is this book called? I'm so sorry. In This Lifetime, Maybe This Lifetime by Asia Monique, I gave it 5 stars. It was everything and more. And I'm a little bit upset that I had a theory for this book that I thought was going to come into fruition, and it didn't. And I was not gagged because it went a completely different direction. And I was like, why can't you let me have my moment? But those are literally the vibes. But let me get into speaking about the books and whether I think you guys should enjoy it. But from my star ratings, you guys should know that these books are everything, and I honestly believe everybody should sit their ass down, grab these books and read. Now, for A Brutal Game, I told you guys that it had like a bully romance, right? So let me tell you, if you don't come from the school of Wattpad, if you do not come from that school, this might phase you, like if you're not enticed or intrigued a little bit by the mean girl energy, this trope will not sit well with you. For me, I eat it up. I love for the moment where the character that is being bullied gets to get their lick back in and gets their revenge in. I live for that moment. I love for the push and pull and the tension and the angst that builds within like those type of romances that arise from those things. Okay, so basically the premise of this book, it's also a dark romance book, so there's no morals here. That whatever they do here is completely wrong, and if you're someone who is morally inclined and who thinks and can't leave that at the door, do not read this book. I'm telling you here, there is a list of trigger warnings which you should not skip over, and if you are okay with those trigger warnings, then you can proceed forth and enjoy the book, but not read the book if you have not looked at those. And if you're not okay with what's being listed there, do not read this. It is a work of fiction, but it has ability to settle within you if you are very, very morally high grounded, so I'm just telling you now. As for me, I don't even read the triggers. I like to call myself a dark romance connoisseur, so those things don't phase me at all. I like to go into a book completely blind, and this book, I don't even know how I found it. I think it was the word of Bookstagram, and it was everything. It gave me what I needed to give. So basically the story follows Aviva. Aviva is a psychology student who basically transfers to this different college that her twin brother used to go to. She comes there on a mission for revenge. Her brother had recently been essayed by his hockey coach, and she thinks like he's basically distraught and like he's a shell of himself. And she's like, I'm gonna get justice in your name, because ain't no way this coach is still sitting here living his life like he didn't ruin my brother's life, and I'm pretty sure there are other victims, and I'm gonna expose him, right? So she goes to this college with hopes of finding the evidence, because her brother said that the coach had basically taped the SA, and he had gone to the university to report this, but obviously like the coach had put some spice on it and made it seem like he was just like a jealous, very troubled kid, so they didn't believe him. So he got kicked out, lost his scholarship. So the sister was like, ain't no way, I'm gonna come to the school, I'm gonna get the evidence I want, and I'm gonna burn it down to the ground while also getting my degree, because I'm that girl. So she basically gets to the college, and she's like living there with her, she's sharing a room with her best friend, right? And her first night there, she basically goes to a college party where she runs into the captain of the hockey team. And she didn't expect to have like a spark with him. When I say these people had chemistry, I was burning, I was sizzling, I was like but she didn't expect to like have such a deep attraction to him. But while they're like having their little moments, she ends up swiping his key card that lets him go into the gym where the hockey people play, and she ends up going there trying to find it, but he follows her because he's just like, there's something about you. I know every face in this university. I run this place, but you also managed to steal from me. So I'm gonna follow you and see what the hell you're doing. So he basically goes and he follows her, and he follows her to the hockey rink, and he stops her from like breaking into the coach's office to try and look for the evidence that she's looking. And he basically, this is when the bullying starts. He starts to butter because he knows that whatever she's doing is going to jeopardize his hopes and dreams of his future. And he's like, ain't no way I'm going to let you do that. I will protect my team fiercely. So he sits there and he's like, let me barter with you that you have two choices. It's either you're going to be on my beck and call and serve me when I call you. When I say jump, you're going to jump. When I say I need you, when I say drop on your knees, you're going to drop on your knees. And she's just like, the hell I will. The hell I will. Hell will freeze over before I find myself doing that for you. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Oh, she's like, and then he's like, or I'll call the coach and you'll have your scholarship revoked and your life will be ruined. So then she's just like, shucks, he has me in a bind. And she basically agrees to like be on his beck and call. And when I say this man saw her, wanted her, obsessed with her, won't let her go, he was like, you're it for me. And I don't care if you don't agree. And she's like, she can't understand because she knows what they're doing is wrong. But me, I kicked the tripod. Sorry. She like knows that what they're doing is wrong, and she doesn't know why she feels attracted to him, but she still kind of exposed it. She kind of likes that he kind of doesn't give her a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just telling you, it was really hot, and like they just get to this point like where they're slowly starting to trust each other, like be what the other person needs. And his jealousy, when I tell you, this man will not let anybody stare at his woman. He's like, she's mine, get your eyes off her or I will take those eyes out of you. Like it was so good. And like there comes to a point where she's trying to convince him, like, listen bro, your coach is a pedophile, your coach is a predator, and I will not rest until I bring him down. But he can't see that because the coach basically helped him out of his like troubled past and helped him become who he is today. So he's like, my coach is a saint. You are so mistaken. So they have like this constant push and pull because they can't seem to align and agree, but they know that they love each other and they want to be together, you know. And at some point the bullying does stop because it phases into love, you know. But then it gets to a point where they have to break up. Because they cannot agree. This coach is literally the ice block within their relationship. And she basically like, when I say, I had like Fine Line by Harry Styles playing in the background, and when I say I was gagged, that breakup scene was everything. It was everything. I wanted to scream. It was so good. Like I felt like my heart was aching. I was like, no. I was like, Logan, please. No, his name is not Logan. I was like, Jack, please. You have to believe her. My girl ain't a liar. And then at some point, he finally did come to party and he realized that she has been telling the truth the whole time. And like now he works with her to get the evidence. And when I said this coach tried to burn her alive, he's like, and yes, you're like, I feel like your brother owed me. like he wanted what I gave him. And she's like, excuse the hell? Who do you think? He's like, I'm owed as his coach. I was just like, in the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives, I was like, SVU, Law and Order, Olivia Benson, come get your man. Come get him. But they end up getting like, Jack ends up rescuing her as like the coach is trying to burn her alive by the ice rink, and they end up fighting their way slowly into life. It's morally great, besties. I'm telling you, the whole time you're gonna be like, ain't no way she's with him, ain't no way she's with this twisted ass man. But I'm telling you, I ate it. It was so good. It was so good. I was captivated from start to finish. I don't even want to hear it. I want to hear a word people say, because to me this was a fantastic bloody read. It gave what it needed to give. I always say that if you are going through a slump or you feel like you've been reading the same things, read a genre that you don't typically read the most. And this bully romance was everything to me. This dark college romance, bully romance, gave what it needed to give, and I was set for it. I was set. And I love that they had like a push and pull. I love that he would like, even though he had control over her and he was like extorting her, she was able to be like, she like held her own and she like fought back towards him. I was like, that's what I love. I love to see a feisty boss babe FMC. And I was like, you are giving what you need to Aviva, and I stand with you. I am for you. I loved it. It was everything and more, besties. And personally, to me, everybody should try and read it. Everybody should try and read it. I probably read it under 6 hours. That's how good it was. And the book was like 400 and something pages. I was just captivated. I couldn't think of anything but this book. Oh, I loved it 2 bits. Now, the second book that I read, I literally started it immediately after I finished Brutal Game by Joe Brenner. I literally went into A Black Romance by Asia Monique. I was like scouring and trying to find the perfect book that was going to like get me into the mood. I almost went for a dark romance book, but then something about this book caught my eye. And I have a tendency of like buying or downloading books when I'm currently in the middle of other books. So sometimes like when I pick my next read, it's very random. Maybe it's just the book cover that gets me. So this book is called like In This Lifetime, or I forgot, but it's by Asia Monique. I'll put the book here, right? And it's a black romance book, and when I say gagged me, loved it in every bit. So the book starts off with, I think my mother's here. I think this is her car. You should be able to hear the sound of your mother's engine. This is definitely her. She's home. Hold on. Maybe In This Lifetime by Asia Monique, right, follows the story of this guy called Leyland, right? And the book starts off and he's basically in a coma, right? And when he wakes up, like he's asking his parents, he's like, where is Clementine? And his parents are like, my guy, who the hell is Clementine? And he's like, my wife. How the hell wouldn't you know that, right? And Clementine ends up like, she's a doctor, right, at the hospital that he's currently in. And she basically comes and she's just like, excuse me, I'm not your wife. I've never met you in my life. This is the first time I meet you. You've been in a coma for a week. You were in an accident. But I can assure you, sir, that I am not your wife. And the gag is that she is like engaged, right, to the doctor in the hospital, right? So basically he's like, I'm pretty sure I know her, right? So he starts asking her questions, right, that only someone who is in love with her or who knows her intimately would be able to answer, right? And she's like, this is so weird, because I don't know why I feel like I'm drawn to him, why I feel like we're like twin flames, but like I've never met this man in my life, but this man knows so much about me, right? Like even details about like her sister who passed away, like her time in foster care, all these things, right? So she ends up like leaving him because she's just like, your doctor will come in soon and all these things. And she goes to her fiance, right? And when I tell you that her and her fiance James have like the most mechanical relationship, it's like so clear to us from like step 2 that you are with the wrong person. You're with the wrong person. Your man is in the hospital bed. That is who you should be with. You better get your hands out of this man. This fiance, you better cut him loose. Kick rocks. You know, you end up starting to feel like that, right? because, and then you realize that they have kind of like, they're probably together because they have aligned interests. They're both doctors. They understand the way they think is more aligned, so that's why they're kind of together, right? Our guy Leland is like an artist. He's like he paints and does all these things, right? So they end up like deciding, her and Leland end up like just being like, okay, bye. She discharges him and everything. But the whole time, like, he's like in this bit of a funk because he can't, like, he's recovering from his head trauma, but he can't like shake the feeling that this is the love of my life, the person I'm supposed to be with, my actual wife. Like, there's no way I dreamt this up, because why do I know so much about her, right? So because of this interaction and this encounter, Clementine ends up having doubts about her current relationship, right? She ends up being like, why is there no spark? I feel like I'm not being loved the way I'm supposed to, and I feel like I'm settling. So she's asked to obviously ask him questions, right? And the whole time he's just like, no, babe, you know we're meant for each other. He's like, he's a good man, I suppose, right? But I'm just like, I'm already like up. Let me tell you where I divulged, because my theory was that because this fiance kept being like, this patient, I'm telling you, just forget what he said, like, it can't be true. You know what happens to patients after they wake up from a coma? They're like in a dream-like state. They confuse reality with like whatever happened in their dream state, right? And the whole time I was like, excuse me, sir, what are you trying to hide? So my theory was that Clementine had been in an accident months ago where she had amnesia, and now because her husband was in an accident and was in a coma, he can't remind her that they were together. And this guy, Dr. Person, ends up coming in and, like, in a sense, like, pretending to be Clementine's fiance, right? Oh, by the sun. Pretending to be Clementine's fiance, and now, like, he's trying to keep that from her, the fact that those two are like, Clementine and Leland are supposed to be together. That was my theory. It was giving Before I Let Go, the movie with Nicole Kidman and Colin Firth. That was my theory, and I was going to punch air and be gagged if that had happened, but it didn't. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. That upset me to no end, because I was just like, I'm such a G. Look at me predicting such things, Either way, so Clementine ends up voicing out her opinions to James, right? And she ends up like, they end up saying, let's take a break. And then she ends up being like, no, it's not a break. We're over. I've realized that you are not it for me. And she ends up starting to like get to know Leland, right? And they slowly start falling into love, getting to know each other, all the vibes. It is giving the most healthiest depiction of black love. And I tell you, that book is annotated. I annotated throughout. I was like, this is, oh my goodness, this is what I'm talking about. This is black love. This is everything. And it was like the healthiest depiction of black love. I was so enthralled, guys. I could not see sense. I tell you, like, I was in and out of sleep. I'd wake up and I continue reading and go back to sleep. I didn't, literally when I woke up, I came out here to finish the book. That's how much I love this book, right? So when Clementine and Leland finally decide that, you know what, you're it for me, we're going to be together, we're going to try this out, we're going to make new memories, he ends up having like this excruciating like headache, and so she comes over to take care of him and all those things. Tell me why when this man woke up, he's back in the hospital. I said, and when he looks at her, she's basically the person that he dreamed of in his state. Like, he's the wife that he dreamed of when he first woke up from the coma, or when he was in his coma initially. I said, what the hell are they doing to me? I said, what? Turns out, this state of where he woke up and he thought that she was his wife, he was still in the coma. He was still in the coma. He was still in the coma, besties. I was like, what? What? Either way, he'd been in a coma for 2.5 months. So now obviously, like, he's relieved because they are married, they have a life together, all these things, but he still can't shake like the fact that, like, in an alternate reality, in another lifetime, she was not his wife and she was engaged to someone else, and he almost lost her and all those things. And honestly, they work through it and all those things, and they happily ever after. It's very clear from the start, we're gonna have happily ever after. But I just thought this was a beautiful depiction of, like, when you are meant to be with someone, in every single lifetime, in every single universe, you will be with them. This was everything, bestie. This was love. This was everything. I was like this. I said, may this type of love find me. May this type of life find me. And I'm the most content single person you'll ever meet in your life. But it was everything and more, basis. I gave it 5 stars because I can't. Asia Monique outdid herself with this book. She outdid herself, and I was thoroughly entertained, I was giddy, I was smiling. I couldn't believe that such people exist in real life. I couldn't believe it. And it was Clementine and Leland will stay with me forever. And I'm just like, Asia Monique, me and you have some work to do, because I will definitely be looking at more of your books. I will definitely be reading all of your books. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're just trying to read a beautiful love story and one that really makes you believe in love, you have to read this book. You have to read Maybe in This Lifetime. It is everything. All in all, vegetables, I read fantastic 2 books in the span of 24 hours. I read the most fantastic books ever, and I can't wait to pick my next read. I can't wait to see where my reading journey is going to take. But so far, March is off to a great start. It's the 2nd of March and I've read 2 books. Fantastic. Cheers to me. But I'm going to go and do my Bible study now. But those are just the vibes. I hope you guys have a blessed day. If you like this video, just share it with all those who you think would be interested. Like, share, subscribe. Till next time, vegetables, love and light.